Anybody living in America today knows that the national debt is no secret. In fact, we owe over $20 trillion in debt. Now, a lot of people attribute this debt to credit cards or this president or that president, but a lot of people tend to shy away from college and student loan debt. Student loan debt makes up $1.56 trillion of that $21 trillion that we owe. Today, over 70% of college graduates start out their working careers in debts of $30,000 or more. So today I'm going to present to you why college should be free. College should be free because society today simply requires a more educated worker. Today I'm going to present to you why college should be free, how exactly it can impact our economy, and how much it would actually cost us as taxpayers. So before I make my first point, I would like all of you to think with an open mind and try to think unbiased and remove all political biases from this topic, as it can easily become a political debate. So the first point I'll make to you is why exactly should college be free? As I said, today's society requires a much more educated worker. The University of Georgetown recently conducted a study that showed over 70% of jobs also require at least an associate's degree. 34% of jobs require a 4-year bachelor's degree. So how much does it cost for these degrees? As you know, they can be pretty costly. So a 4-year bachelor's degree typically will run you about $20 to $25,000, depending on where you're going to college and the type of degree, etc. And that's not even including your first 2 years. So your prerequisites are going to cost anywhere from $7,000 to $15,000. Now this doesn't include your cost for books, the cost for if you need housing, the cost if you're eating on campus and things like that. So all in all, a 4-year bachelor's degree is going to cost anywhere from $25,000 up to $45,000. So if college were free, it would really encourage a lot more people to actually attend college. One of the main reasons people don't go to college is because they can't afford it. Let's remember that not everybody was gifted with the ability to make straight A's and just go to school and not have a job. Everybody has a different situation, and if college were free, everybody would be encouraged to go to college. There would be no reason for someone to not go to college. So the second point I want to make to you is, what would this do for our economy? This would really jumpstart our economy if college were free. As I referred to in the beginning of the speech, I said that $1.56 trillion of that $21 trillion that we currently owe can be attributed to student debt alone. And every year that number will jump by 5%. So by 2030, 2035, we're looking at that our whole debt is going to be doubled, and half of it's going to be attributed to student loan debt. So if college were free, our economy would really get a jump start. Let's take a look at, if there's a lot of other countries that have implemented programs like this, and they've worked very well for their economy. So let's take a look at a country like Sweden, for example. Sweden has completely free tuition. You don't pay for your books. Education is completely free from kindergarten all the way through to your bachelor's degree. So Sweden is about 5 to 15% more profitable every year as a whole compared to the United States. If we were to implement a similar system, not saying we have to exactly copy what Sweden has done over there, but if we implemented a similar system, we could erase over $1 trillion of that debt in 1 year alone. In just 1 year. Now think, 5 years down the road, that number is going to jump by 10, 15, maybe even 20%. So we could really knock a big hole in that debt that we currently owe. Not only can we knock that debt down, but because all these graduates won't be paying student loan debt, they can put that money back into the economy. So instead of making that $1,000 payment every month on your student loans, you can be buying a house, you can be buying a car, you can be being an active member of society and putting more money back into the economy. And the point everybody's probably been waiting on is, how much is this going to cost us? So there's not really a number I can give you that you can be for sure, hey, I'm going to pay this amount extra on my taxes every year. because it's always fluctuating. Because the higher the debt gets, the higher everything else is going to cost. So basically, it would cost about, this is a rough estimate now, about $1 trillion. I know this sounds like just a huge number, but you have to remember that America has over 325 million people living here. So all in all, it really wouldn't be that much. It would be about $6 to $8, $9, maybe even $10,000 at the most every year. But you know, if 325 million people are paying that, let's not look at necessarily what we're paying. Let's take a look at the end result. What's going to happen? Like I said, if we didn't have student loan debt, we wouldn't. That would be a big hole out of that total debt, and everybody would be able to be buying houses and be a productive member of society and be able to put more money back into the economy. I'll give you myself, for example. I'm 21 years old. I still live at home. I make about $11 an hour right now. So, and I actually recently lost my Hope Scholarship, so I'm having to pay outright for my tuition 100%. And I'll tell you right now, if it wasn't for grants, and if it wasn't for me saving birthday and Christmas money, I probably wouldn't be able to pay my tuition. Now, if this tuition was free, I could probably work about 20 to 30 hours a week instead of working a full-time job. And number one, I'd be able to give 110% in the classroom. My GPA would be higher. And I think the most important thing is that another thing a lot of people don't look at is the mental stress that this puts on people. Imagine, a lot of people have credit card debt, car payments, house payments, whatever it may be. Imagine if they weren't making that $1,000 payment every month on their student loans, how much more stress-free they would be. So to wrap this up, I've been saying this for years, if only college were free. I've thought this thought my entire academic career. If it were free, what would it mean? Like I explained to you, we need a more educated worker now in today's society. It's simply required. Over 70% of jobs by 2035 will require at least a 4-year bachelor's degree. Not only do we need a more educated worker, but this would really jumpstart our economy. This would nearly cut that debt in half over the next 5 to 10 years. And finally, a lot of people think that it's so expensive and they don't want to pay all these taxes, but think of the end result. Think of how much more financially stable you could be without having student loan debt. Think about how much more mentally stable you could be without having student loan debt. And finally, I will leave you with this. Just imagine America today with a fraction of the debt we have, over half of the population with great high-paying jobs, and a future for your children. Thank you.